Friends, in many organizations, preparing financials is a monthly activity, and that organizations likes to prepare those financials in a typical presentation format which it likes. So I have seen that many times from through Tally you cannot match that format of presentation. So accountants mostly export it in Excel, then rearrange all the things in that typical presentation format of profit loss and balance sheet. Okay, so this is a very detailed and comprehensive video where I am going to demonstrate how you can automate this process by linking it to the trial balance dynamically without using ODBC. So I would be using Tally to database utility and generating CSV files which I would be importing in Excel and linking it to prepare financials, which can be just automated by just playing with the from two dates of the utility. Okay, and this utility also video also covers one more thing, that is configuration of the utility. So this is the common question I have been asked, that can we configure this utility to include closing balance field? So yes, you can, which I would be demonstrating. So over to my screen. Let's download the utility first. So I hope you are on this project page. Don't worry, link of this page is given in the video description. Okay. Okay, now one thing regards download. I have observed that many people download this utility by clicking here and download the zip. So friends, this is an incorrect way. Okay, so please don't download by this method. Okay, so always scroll down a bit, go to download section, and from here always download this utility. Okay, so you can download it and save it. So utility, and I will save it here. And before installing utility, just ensure you have Node.js installed. So I already included instruction how to download and install Node.js here. You can check out that. Okay, now first let's extract the utility. Okay, so I will simply right click here and using 7-zip I will extract it here. Okay, inside a folder. Let's click that. Okay, so you have utility with this. Let me delete this. Friends, this time I would not be transferring my Tally data into some database server, but I would be using CSV file and extract trial balance from it into Excel. Okay, so let's see. So if you go to the project files or utility files, you'd notice a file called config.json. Okay, just ensure you have Notepad++ installed, and if you right click, you would get option called edit with Notepad++. Okay, so I just click, and here instead of MS SQL, I would simply change this to CSV. Okay, CSV, and save it. Okay, and let's adjust our period. So if I go to Tally, so my data is from first 21 to 22. So let me adjust this period 21 to 22. Okay, again I will save it. Once you change this to CSV, remaining settings are just dummy. They are redundant. They are no longer in use. Okay, now let's start extracting. Okay, so I would close this file. Okay, and I will click run. So let's double click, and you should quickly see file generated. Now since I'm having very less transactions, hardly 50-60 transactions, so it happened very quickly. So I can see a folder called CSV. Okay, and here I can see many files. Okay, and now we are interested in only two files, ledger and group. Okay, so let's locate MST ledger. Okay, so I would use Excel for this. Okay, so okay, now if you notice in this file, okay, we have opening balance, but we don't have closing balance here, because the reason is that closing balance is dynamic. So closing balance might change for date, different dates. Okay. So I have not included closing balance column. But now let's modify our utility and even insert a column called closing balance. And if you see, we don't require all these other columns. Okay. So I will show you how you can remove all this column and just keep only those columns which are required. And we would also see, okay, that like in this case, you just need two files, ledger and group. Remaining files are not required for our demonstration. So we would be deleting that. So let's see how you can prevent utility from generating all this file and keep it very clean. Okay, I'll go one folder back. Okay, now let me show you magic. So there is a file called tally export config. Okay, dot YAML. Okay, so if you right click and again edit it with Notepad++, you'd see a file like this. Okay, so let me zoom this a bit. And this file has two sections. If I collapse this, master and transactions. So transactions has vouchers and masters have all the master related things. Like what are the master? Group, okay, ledger, voucher type and many. So we just require two master called group and ledger. We don't require remaining things and we even don't require transactions. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to delete this section. Okay. Transaction, but don't delete this section like this. Otherwise utility will generate an error because it tries to look for a line of transaction. What you have to do, just one line below, you have to select from here and go till down and delete this. Okay, and again press backspace. Okay, now here space, you have to write square brackets open close. That means don't generate any transaction file. Okay, and let's save this. Let's see. Okay, so previously in CSV files we are having all the transaction file also. Okay, let me go back and let's run utility again. I will double click and run it. Okay, now this time if you check this CSV folder, you would see only MST, master related transaction. Okay, transaction it didn't generate it. So even your utility now will become fast because transaction take lot amount of time. Okay, so we are get rid of transactions. Now let's see how to remove even other files. So I will again open this and edit it with Notepad++. Now I am interested with just group and ledger. Okay, remaining thing I don't require. So I can delete this node also. Right from voucher. Okay, I can go on selecting like this till the end and just ensure you don't delete transactions. This line, transaction line, and I will delete this. Okay, now if I expand this, it should look something like this. And you have to just delete this extra line. Okay, so your file ideally now should look like this. So in transaction, we say that we don't want any transaction table from tally exported, and in master, we are saying that we just want two tables, group and ledger, to be exported. Okay, I'll save this and let's see. I will again run it. Okay, this time it happened even quickly. And if I now go to CSV file folder, you'll see only two files. Now again let's go to Notepad++. Okay, now if you see in ledger there are many columns which I don't require. Okay, like this description, like this mailing name, mailing address. So for just generation of trial balance, I don't require this. So I can simply go, I can put my cursor here. Okay, and go on selecting like this. till the end. Okay, end, and I can simply okay. Now ensure you don't delete this cascade update, delete this line. Okay, you have to just simply delete the line till bank branch name. Okay, these are the fields. So I will press delete. Okay. Now, if you notice, we have opening balance, but we don't have closing balance field here. Okay. So what I will do, I will make a copy of this opening balance. Okay. First, delete this line. Okay. Ensure you delete this line. Okay. Now I will make a copy of this opening balance. Okay. Copy and go here, press enter and again paste it. Okay. Now here I would say this as closing balance. Okay. Opening balance and this one is now closing balance. CLO closing balance, and field name for this in tally is again by name closing balance. Okay, now this closing balance is as on the date of to date which you have set in config.json file. Okay, closing balance. Let's save this. Again I will press run and see if trial balance is generated. Let's go to the CSV file and let's open this ledger table. Okay, now can you see we even have closing balance here. Okay, now friends, next step is importing this file into Excel. Okay, so I'll close this. Okay, we'll go back this folder. Okay, and let's do this in Excel online so that I can access my financials even from Excel web version, which can be opened from even cell phone. Okay, your smartphone. Okay, so I'm on my OneDrive, and this is OneDrive for business because I have Microsoft Business Basics subscription. So let me create a new Excel file. Let's call this financials for FY, let's say 2021-22. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to open this file from Excel desktop version. So I will simply close this file from browser based version because my browser based version cannot connect to my CSV files which are on my local system. Okay. So I'll simply close it, but I would definitely keep this file directly on OneDrive. So therefore I directly created this file on OneDrive from browser. Okay. Now if I click here, I get two options: open in browser or app. By default, it open from browsers, but I can even open it through Excel desktop app. Okay, can you see? And now this file is on autosave mode. Any changes I made would all directly be synchronized to the cloud on real-time basis. Okay, let's browse this both Excel file. So I'd go here, copy this CSV folder location. Okay, you can even dump this CSV files into your client's places, client folder dedicated if you have any. Okay, so I will copy paste this folder location and I would launch Power Query Editor because I want to do some import and merging of data because I would be merging a ledger and group file. Okay, so first I will right click and I will say I want to import an CSV file. Okay, CSV file. I'll paste this. First, let's import this group. Okay, MST group. Okay, so you can see this. Let me press OK. MST group, and I'm just interested in one column called primary group name, which I would be merging in ledger. And in close and load to, I would say just make a connection, create only connection, so that it would not load this data into Excel because I am yet to process the data. Okay, so it would not be loading this data in Excel. Okay, I will again open Power Query Editor. Next, let's import ledger table. Okay, so right click, new query, import text or CSV file, and this time let's pick up ledger table and let's press OK. Let's remove all the extra columns which we don't want, like this column I don't want, even this alias I don't want. Okay, temporarily. Remaining columns you can click keep if you want. Okay, now I am interested in one column called primary group, which tells me whether it is uh, of sundry debtor or creditor or any of the higher level of group. Okay, so let's say if you have multiple groups, subgroups under the group sundry debtor or creditor, so primary group will tell that irrespective of this group, whether this group or ledger ultimately belongs to sundry debtor, creditor, or let's say cash, bank. Okay, like that. So basically I would need to merge base on the basis of parent column, because parent is basically nothing but group name of the any of the ledger, and the same column here is by name. Okay, so let's do a merge. So I would say merge queries. Okay, merge queries, and I will merge ledger with group, and which is the field which would be deciding to, or which would be correlating both the tables. So in the ledger table it is parent, and the same field is in group is available by name, and I would say okay, only matching rows, inner join or matching rows. So this would automatically remove profit loss ledger, which we don't require because profit loss has no parent. So this would automatically get removed. If you see, it got selection of only, means matching for only 43 ledgers. So remaining one ledger is profit loss ledger, which Tally creates by default. Okay, so I will say OK, so that, and I would say that from this merge table, I will just unselect this and I will say I simply want a field called primary group. Okay, a field called primary group name, which tell me that what is the nature of this ledger. So now since I have very simple structure, so you would see parent as same as primary group, but if you have multiple nesting uh, of groups, like let's say inside indirect expenses you have maybe all the ledgers which are of type repair, all ledgers which are of type salaries, this would help you out. Okay, now this ledger table I want to load into Excel, so I will say close and load to, and I would load it here. I would not choose connection but table. Okay, friends, now one thing you would notice that your trial balance will not tally. Okay, so if you select this and let's say apply number formatting to it, you would see a difference of this. So this difference is exactly equal to your closing stock. Okay, if you check tally, okay, this is the closing stock, because the reason is that, so if I check stock, okay, if I check stock in hand, that means closing stock, you would get a balance. Okay, But issue is that it debited the closing stock. Okay, but it has to credit profit loss by that profit loss or trading account by that amount. Okay, now this is a dynamic entry. So tally technically doesn't pass any entry, but it generates this dynamically. So one effect has not been given. So technically your net profit and this net profit would be transferred to either your reserves, okay, or BNR account in tally. Okay, so this effect, remember, you have to always give it manually. Okay, now let's see how to prepare financial based on this closing balance. Okay, so friend, just for demonstration purpose, I included two files, profit loss balance sheet. So I would be just demonstrating profit loss because intent behind is to just demonstrate mechanism or way to develop this. So I would be demonstrating multiple ways. Okay, okay, now I had, so this is my sample or typical profit loss because presentation of profit loss generally change from organization to organization. Okay, so let's say this is a very typical or specialized type of profit loss which my management likes to see. Like we have sales, okay, then purchases, and we want cost of goods sold, COGS, and then other income, operating expenditure, and all. We want presentation a bit like that, that depreciation is to be included separately, then interest, tax, and after that net profit or earning after that tax. Okay, now let's see how you can link up the figures. Okay, so what I have done, basically I have picked all the ledgers under this. Okay, and I would be pulling closing balance of all these ledgers so that I get to my profit loss. Okay, I will just keep my tally profit loss open so that we arrive at the net profit like this. Okay, okay, let's start. Now there are two ways to pull the closing balance. Let's say if you have only single ledger by name laptop, then naturally your VLOOKUP or XLOOKUP would work. Let me show you. Is equal to, I will show you by XLOOKUP. Generally this is the way I recommend, is equal to XLOOKUP. So I will say search for a ledger by name this cell, that means laptop, comma. So where to search? So search for this ledger name in this column. So I will click somewhere here and press control space. Okay, can you see? So search for ledger name here, comma, return array, and kindly return back the closing balance which is written here. Closing balance which is written here. Again, control space. Okay, notice this formula. Currently it is cell reference, but when I press control space, it becomes column reference. Okay, column reference. Bracket close. So this is laptop closing balance. Okay, let me even format this closing balance of the laptop. Okay, so this way you can look, or let's say second idea I would give, that let's say if you have multiple ledgers, means let's say models of laptop, so you might create each model ledger here and create a group called laptop. So in that case XLOOKUP would not work, so you would have to apply SUMIFS. Okay, SUMIF or SUMIFS. So you will have to actually SUMIF based on this parent. Means SUMIF this closing balance, and based on this group called or parent called, let's say laptop. Okay, like that. So if you have single ledger, you can use XLOOKUP. But if you have group, and if you don't want to nest multiple ledgers of laptop under this, and if you have group name laptop, you can use SUMIF. So you can use any of the method. Okay, so I will copy paste this. Same for desktop, and same for both this. Copy paste. I already updated this formula. Okay, these are my total sale. Let's tally, means or match with this tally. So 81 lakh 95,000. Let me go to tally. Okay, sale. Okay, this 8067 plus 127 5, which comes to 8195. Okay, if you see 8067150. Okay, now this is the advantage. So in tally, maybe I'll have to tweak a lot, but here I can give this group naming a different name. Okay, as per the presentation. Opening stop, you have to enter it manually. Okay, or maybe if you want, you can link it like this using XLOOKUP. But for opening stock, you have to link up this column number E. Okay, please remember, not closing balance. Same way, I would link this purchase. My XLOOKUP would even work here. But friends, notice these are the expenditure. That means debit. So debit closing balances are in minus because tally follows a system. Credit is positive and debit is negative. So I will have to place minus XLOOKUP. Okay, I will just add minus and XLOOKUP. Copy paste like this. Purchase, and even this is true for expenditure. Okay, and closing stock. Let us link this, copy and paste it. Okay, now you would see fashion in, because there is no ledger called closing stock. This is just for display purpose. So what is our ledger for closing stock? Stock in hand. Okay, now you might have different ledgers by name stock in hand. So let's apply a SUMIFS to capture this on a safe side. So currently I can do this using VLOOKUP also, sorry, or XLOOKUP, but let's do this by SUMIFS. So I would say stock in hand. Okay, I will copy paste this stock in hand, parent, and I would say is equal to sum IFS, and I would say sum all the closing balances, comma, where this parent control shift is, I will paste this stock in hand. Okay, where the parent is or group name is written stock in hand, and again you have to put minus sign in front of that. Okay, cost of goods sold is opening stock plus purchase minus closing stock. Opening stock is 0 basically. So this is our gross profit, 18,51,330. Okay, now the reason is that direct expense. So maybe, yeah, direct expense we have taken. Let's check. I think, okay, direct expenditure have been excluded. So I'll have to actually even add the total of the direct expenditure. So that this is the cost of goods sold. Okay, 1477,175, 1477,175. Okay, because these are the direct expenditures. So it relates to the number, or we can say it is more of the variable costs. So it is directly, it is a part of cost of goods sold. Okay. Other income. So let me copy paste this formula, credit side. So I can copy paste this formula here, and expenditure. So expenditure I should copy pasting this. Okay, total operating expenditure, then even interest and tax. Interest and tax. Okay, let's see if our profit matches. No, because interest is by different name. Maybe let's see if I have interest or not. Okay, let's check the formulas. Okay, I even need to add this other income here so that it gets tallied. So it would be okay. Let me place formula again. So this plus, sorry, this my other income minus operating expenditure minus depreciation. Okay, let me put the formula for depreciation. Let me put the formula again. Gross profit plus other income minus operating expenditure minus depreciation is our, okay, 367220. Okay, now this tallies. Same way, our earning after tax or net profit is EBITDA minus interest and tax. Now currently there are no ledgers for interest and tax because I have passed no entry for interest and tax, so you would not find. But this way you can dynamically link. Okay, and let's see how this automatically updates. So let's say if I change any of this figure, uh, let's say if we change the freight amount. Okay, if we change the freight amount, so currently it is 77,000. Let me change the entry for it. Let's say let us make it 77,500. Okay, let me go to tally and make it. So let's make this entry 77,500. Okay, now my net profit is 366,720. Okay, now let's see. Let's update this. So how you would update this? It's very simple. You would simply again click and run here. Okay, and simply you have to come to the Excel data and press refresh all. Okay, press refresh all. So just note, before this profit was 367,220 and I will press refresh all. Okay, 366,720. Now this matches with our tallies, 366,720. So friends, in this way you can prepare a dynamically linked trial balance which can update automatically. But one thing you have to take care, if you add any ledgers, you have to manually add that ledger. So you have to always keep that any ledger you are adding into this or deleting into this, you have to take care of adding and removing that ledger rows. Okay. Okay friends, now let me show you one beauty of this approach. Okay. So as you know, you can press refresh all and refresh this file. And since I place this file on my OneDrive with autosave on, okay, so as soon as I press refresh all, this file automatically gets synchronized to cloud. Okay, so let's say if I close this file and if I'm not in my office, okay, and I want to access whatever latest changes I have done, so maybe from my cell phone or iPad, okay, I can simply go to OneDrive, or in iPad you would have Excel app. So if you link your business subscription of OneDrive or Microsoft account with that iPad Excel, you can see all these files. Or let's say I will show you from the browser. So I can simply place this, click on this file, and I would see this. Okay. So automatically this file would be synchronized. So I can automatically access the same file when I'm not in office, even from uh, my browser or iPad. Okay. So friends, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please try this, and let me tell you, this is just one of the part of the series. So the next video would be on the consolidation. So this I did only for single branch, but I have multiple branches. So in the next part of this video, I would be consolidating and extending this automation even to the consolidation.